Alrighty everybody, welcome back to Rumor Town because we have some more rumors suggesting that some games are coming very soon. Now, we know Nintendo right now is on their remake, remaster, port vibe because we're still getting ready for the next big console. Big games will be coming, but for now it looks like we're getting just tons of remakes and remasters to hold us off until then, and that's completely fine. But there is a new rumor now from PH Brazil, which is the person who first said Switch was delayed to Q1 2025 and then it actually happened. But they are coming out and suggesting that we are going to be getting some type of re-release of a Gamecube game and a 3DS game. Now, this short article comes from Nin10doland and states a new rumor is currently doing the rounds online from PH Brazil, who was the first to note that the Switch 2 was originally planned to release at the end of 2024, has slipped to early next year. He's back, and this time he says that Nintendo has 2 re-releases in the works, which are due after March of 2025, which is pretty interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. Yes, these games will be coming to current Nintendo Switch systems. He says that one of these classic re-releases was originally on the Nintendo Gamecube, and the second one is a classic Nintendo 3DS title. It's crazy that 3DS games are considered classic. It's just, mind-blowing to me. But he also says, he added that these probably won't be shown during the Nintendo Direct presentation, which is confirmed for next month. Carrying on from this, he speculates that Nintendo intends to fully support the original Switch, despite the fact that its successor will be available. This is because of the huge install base of the Nintendo Switch family of systems. Nintendo has plans for the transition period between the two systems, much like Sony's PlayStation 4 console is still being supported despite its successor, the PlayStation 5. And before people start freaking out and saying, like, are we not going to get Switch 2 before March of 2025 because of these 2 games still coming out after that? No, I don't think it has anything to do with that. We know we're probably still going to get a lot of games coming to both consoles when Switch 2 does come out because, like they said, the huge install base of Switch 1. You don't want to just leave those people out in the dark right away. So yeah, it makes sense that you'll probably get some multi-plat releases for both consoles. So no, I don't think this is changing anything. I still think we're going to be getting Switch 2 right around March of next year, which is still the beginning of 2025. Yeah, don't worry about anything like that. I don't think you need to take that out of context or something. But we're here to talk about the 2 games. There's apparently a GameCube game and a 3DS game coming. It may not even be announced during this Nintendo Direct, which is also a little strange for me, I can't lie, but I am very interested in seeing what these games are going to be. But exactly what are those games going to be? Well, there's some pretty good options still left on the table for some remakes or even remasters. Now let's start off with GameCube. There's a lot of options on the table still. The GameCube still has tons of games that can get brought over. Of course, we gotta start off with Metroid Prime 2 and 3. This, I don't think, is it, though, because I feel like these 2 games are just going to be, announced and coming out very, very soon, maybe even in little collection packs, so I don't think this is one of the GameCube games. And I also want to move on over and say the same thing with Zelda. I could be wrong, but the fact that, yes, both Wind Waker and Twilight Princess came out on the GameCube, technically, even though one was like a cross-release, I still don't think it's one of these games either. It could be, but I feel like if these games are coming, it's definitely also going to be in a collection pack unless they're completely remaking the game again from the ground up, which I don't think is happening. But yeah, I would also expect to see both of those games in a pack, so I don't think it's those games either. So I'm thinking of games that were one-offs and that actually make sense to have a remake, and I came up with 2. So first, Kirby Air Ride. I know this is one that a lot of fans just like really love now and they would love to see return. And it's a fun Kirby spin-off racing game, and I feel like they could make it happen for sure right now. I feel like it's a really good time for that, especially as we wait for Kirby's, next big 3D adventure or even 2D adventure. This is something that they could do. There's rumors right now suggesting that they're going to do like Rainbow Curse, so this might not happen, and in fact, I'm not leaning towards this right now. I'm leaning more towards the other one, which makes the most sense, and that is F-Zero GX. Nintendo recently just kind of revived F-Zero by bringing F-Zero 99 onto Nintendo Switch, and I feel like right now it would only make sense for them to capitalize on that by remaking F-Zero GX, which to a lot of people is one of the best racers out there, not just for Nintendo, but like out there. And after finally diving into it myself, I can actually say this was a lot of fun, and this is something I really wasn't expecting to be as fun as it was, and I would love to see this on current hardware. This is the way to revitalize F-Zero. Before making a brand new game, see how people like this, especially with an install base as big as the Nintendo Switch is right now. definitely get this game out. This one makes the most sense to me. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. If they should remake a game, it probably should be something like Chibi Robo back on the Gamecube. This game was so good before they started ruining it with like a 2D platformer, Ziplash or whatever that was. This was like peak Chibi Robo, and I would love to see it return. But right now it's so freaking expensive. I mean, it's literally like $300-400 for a used copy. So if Nintendo needs to revitalize a game and bring something back, you know, in order to beat those scalpers, it definitely would be Chibi Robo. It's a weird one for sure, and it's so random, I feel like it could have a chance to be picked from Nintendo. Now, there's still some others that you could throw on this list, but, you know, the only other one that I could possibly, like, stretch as far as I can is like Star Fox Assault. I don't think Command is happening, but I think Assault could happen. It's a really good Star Fox game, believe it or not, and it has really fun multiplayer, so I could see Nintendo maybe remaking this in a new way. But at the same time, who knows where Star Fox is, you know, and if they're ever going to have another game. They probably will, but I think they're better off just, you know, looking for a new Star Fox game rather than remaking an old one, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Before I see the comments, no, I don't think Double Dash or Melee is going to happen. Now we move on to 3DS games, and I feel like there is a good batch, but it comes down to just a couple I feel like have the best chance. Mario 3D Land is probably not going to happen. I think it had its chance with Mario 3D All-Stars, and if it didn't happen there, there's no way they're going to make a whole game based off of this small little 3DS game. They could, who knows? I mean, they did remake Mario vs. Donkey Kong, a Game Boy Advance game, so it could happen. I just don't see it very likely. It's a very basic 3D Mario game meant for a handheld, so I think it's going to stay on a handheld. We also have 2 Kirby games. I don't think it's going to be any of these because I can see both of these being a collection pack, which is Kirby Triple Deluxe and Kirby Planet Robobot. I really, really hope these games do come to a home console eventually. I think they will, whether it be Switch 1 or Switch 2, whatever it's going to be. It's going to happen eventually. It's just 2 really, really good Kirby games that deserve better than just staying on the 3DS only. Now we move on to some that I feel are more likely to happen. The first one, Kid Icarus Uprising. This one feels like it has got to be the next 3DS game to really come to the Switch because this game is loved by so many people. It has great online multiplayer. It's an amazing story with funny characters and an awesome cast that just really blends well with Pit. Tons of cool weapons to collect and a challenge board to complete for 100% completionist. There's a lot here, and there's a lot that they can offer even with a remake. And I know even Sakurai himself has come out multiple times and said he really wants this to happen, and has said it in multiple of his videos, so Nintendo, just make it happen. This is something that a lot of people would love to see the return. I would love to eventually see a new Kid Icarus game, so it's crazy to me that this game, being as good as it is still just left on a 3DS. And if it's not Kid Icarus, I really hope it's a Link Between Worlds. I would love to see another top-down Zelda game, and honestly, Link Between Worlds is one of my favorites. It is so much fun, and it's still just left on the 3DS. I would love to see it maybe in the Link's Awakening art style, or maybe at least just using the same engine as that game and kind of remaking the way it looks from the 3DS, because I love the 3DS art style, honestly. I'd be fine with them just keeping that and just making it look really good. They could just take the remaster route, honestly, and just bring it over the same way they're doing with Luigi's Mansion 2. Something like that would be really cool. I believe with all my heart that this game deserves this just as much as Kid Icarus Uprising does, if not maybe even a little bit more. But this game is just so much fun. It's one of my favorite Zelda games in the whole series, and I hope it has a chance to make a return. There's also been a new patent issued for stretch mode, so maybe that's the 3DS game in question. It's hard to say if they're going to just completely remake stretch mode with all the DLC packs slapped together, or is there going to be a new stretch mode game? I don't know. I don't necessarily think this is the one that they're going to be going with. I think it's actually going to be a full-fledged 3DS title. I could be wrong. Now, I don't know much about Fire Emblem or if this is even a thing that people would really want, but I can see them bringing back Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS because that is a big Fire Emblem title of recent years, and I believe it's one of the Fire Emblem titles that actually revitalized the franchise for modern gamers, so I guess that would work. And you have Metroid Samus Returns, which is kind of the same situation as Metroid Dread, where it plays very similar. You still have her counterattack and the cinematic scenes and the movement that she's had in Dread. And this would be a really cool game to bring back, even though it's a remake of a classic Metroid 2 game. Yeah, bring it back again. I think it'd be really fun for people who haven't played on a 3DS to give it a try if they really like Dread. but I don't see this one really happening. So yeah, I just feel like Kid Icarus Uprising or the Kirby games just make the most sense. But it's probably likely we'll hear about this either soon or in the fall direct of this year. So within the next couple of months for sure, something should come out about a GameCube or a 3DS title. We'll keep our mind on this and see exactly what this is and what this could be, but definitely let me know in the comments down below what you think these GameCube/3DS titles are going to be. What would you really hope them to be? I'm still holding on for Kid Icarus until the very end, but thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out if you enjoyed today's video, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.